shine other than what everyone else pays attention to. So we're excited to talk to you. We're excited to hear about the program, and we've been making the rounds since last year, pretty much talking to junior college coaches, and so we're really excited to spread that. Jimmy and I are both very passionate about the junior college experience and what it's done for us. And so we want kids to know that if they're hardworking student athletes, maybe they don't have the potential right away, or they haven't hit their stride to go to Division 1 or Power 4 or anything like that, that the junior college route is a very viable route, and it can really help increase your stock a lot, which it did for both of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, we're excited. Ladies and gentlemen, howdy and aloha. We are here, you are there, and you are now rocking with the best. Thank you for joining us tonight for another episode of Airey Bros Radio. But before we get rolling, you all know the drill. Make sure you hammer that like button and are subscribed on YouTube. Drop a comment. Every view, review, and share helps us grow and give back to the sports we love. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And as always, let's not forget while we're here to shine a light on the coaches and programs with the stories we wish we had access to growing up. If you or someone you know is chasing your dreams in cross-country, track and field wrestling, please share this episode with them. Now let's lace them up and welcome Coach Jake Holt. Coach Jake Holt has won 17 conference titles and 17 district titles as the head coach at East Newton High School. They were six-time Missouri. He's had 6 Missouri State trophies, nearly 80 all-state athletes across cross country and track and field. He's the founder of the SWMO Running Camp, one of the largest in the U.S. with over 400 plus campers yearly. He's building Crowder's brand new cross-country program into a top-10 national team, both on the men's, they're ranked number 7, and the women number 5. Without further ado, it is an honor and pleasure to have you joining us this evening. We do greatly appreciate your time. Coach Jake Holt, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Rich, for having me.
Absolutely. Coach, before we get too far into it, anything you'd like to plug or promote, anywhere you'd like us to direct recruits on, any campers that might be looking for a good summer camp, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I coach at Crowder College in Neosho, Missouri. We're right in the middle of recruiting season right now. I think this Friday we probably have about 10 recruits coming on campus for an overnight visit. Just gonna have a good time, let them meet the team, meet me, and just see if we're a good fit for them. They can check us out on Instagram. We'd have Crowder Cross Country Track and Field, or you can go on Facebook, or you can just go to crowder.edu and you can find me that way. As you guys said earlier, I am also the camp founder and director of SWMO Running Camp here in Southwest Missouri. And like you said, we have around 400 kids every summer, and it's a great time. And just we actually do get a lot of recruits that way as well. So yeah, those are my shout outs.
That's awesome. And Jimmy and I are veteran cross-country campers. We've had a lot of great experiences. It was the best summer, the best week of the summer, not only as a athlete in high school running cross country, but then as a college athlete, as a camp counselor, and then also as a coach, being a coach at a cross country camp. Some of my fondest memories of cross country revolve around that week in August, maybe in July for some people that start school in August. But yeah, the great times to be had at a cross country camp. I love it. So, Coach, the way we like to get started here, we all have our origin stories about how we got into the sport, how we got into coaching. So, we'd love to hear both of yours.
Well, I went to Southwest Washburn High School in Southwest Missouri all 13 years, and had a really good program for cross country. It's a really small school, so they didn't have football. And in the 80s and 90s, if you were going to play basketball, you had to be on the cross country team starting in 7th grade. It was just what you did. In athletics, you ran cross country, you played basketball, and you did track in the spring. If you're going to be in the athletics class, that's what you're going to be doing. And my older brother was on the cross country team when I was a 7th grader. And you know how little brothers are, they like to be like the older brother. And he was a varsity runner. And I thought, hey, I might be able to do that someday. And like I said, we didn't have football. If we had, I might have been a football player. I'm 6'5", currently about 240. In high school, I didn't weigh that by any means. I was a 6'4", 165-pound junior when I ran cross country, and only weighed about 180 pounds my senior year at 6'5". But got into running that way. Honestly, never loved running in high school, but we had a good team. I think we probably at one point held the school or state record in Missouri for the most district titles in a row. And class 1 and 2, we were winning district titles pretty much every year, and state trophies many times in the 90s as well. And that's kind of how I got into it. Went into college and really wanted to be a basketball coach when I got into education, and maybe coach cross country potentially as a side thing. But I quickly realized that you're not always going to have the best athletes in basketball, so it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to win. But what I loved about cross country is that you don't have to catch a ball, kick a ball, be able to throw a ball in order to have success. If you're just willing to work hard, you're going to have a chance to do something amazing. And I was very fortunate to have a lot of kids that believed in that over the years. So that's it.
Awesome. And so you went from coaching at the high school level, and I think a lot of high school coaches have aspirations or dreams that one day they could coach at the college level. So how did that come about for you with Crowder?
Yeah, I mean, I was at East Newton High School for 21 years, and I hadn't really thought about coaching at the college level. I just happened to be at a meet, watching some kids run, and I don't even think we were running at that meet. And I ran into the vice president at Crowder, and she mentioned that they were going to be starting a program, and I thought it just got to me thinking, might be a great opportunity. At that time, I was planning on just staying at the high school and teaching, maybe coaching track and just coaching cross country at the college level. But I quickly realized that if I was going to be any kind of college coach, it was going to have to be a full-time thing. And so that was 4 years ago. We're on year 4, and it's been a great experience for sure.
Coach, so you're on year 4 and you started the program. So how did it start and how's it going?
First year was really tough. They didn't approve the program until November. And so, that was in 2021, and we're supposed to field a team in fall of 2022. So I didn't get hired until December of 2021. And by that time, I mean, a lot of the kids that you might be able to get, they've already made decisions to go elsewhere. So that first year, I think we had 8 guys and 5 girls on the team. And a lot of them were kids that really Crowder was going to be their only option to go to, especially on the girls' side. On the guys' side, I did get a kid that was going to go to a school in Tennessee, and he decided to give us a chance. And he's now at the University of Central Arkansas running for the Bears. So he was a pretty good pickup for us. Then we just had a bunch of unknown kids, and so the first year was just a lot of growing pains and kids putting in hard work. But in that group, we had 3 kids go on to run D2 or D1. And one of those kids was a 207-800 guy when he showed up on Crowder's campus, and he transferred to Pitt State, and last year broke their indoor school record, ran 150 flat. So
Shout out to Coach Rutledge.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got 2 teams right now ranked in the preseason polls.
Yeah.
How's this year's team looking, and how's it come since those first couple of years where you were kind of straggling to get people there? You have more recruits coming in, more people aware of what you got going on at Crowder?
Yeah, year 2, we had a pretty good recruiting class with the American kids, and we had quite a bit bigger team. We ended up with around 13 or 14 guys, and we got up to 8 or 9 girls. So the team grew quite a bit. In our region, we're the only Division I school at the JUCO level. So we were the top team in year 2 in our region. We beat Mineral Area pretty handily. And they're perennial contenders for the national title at the D3 level. Of course, we have the advantage of having the housing scholarships, of course. Year 3, we ended up with 31 kids. We had 19 guys and 12 girls. And we went from 17th and 18th in the nation to the girls finishing 5th, and the guys got 6th. We do have a little bit of a cheat code. We did have 8 Kenyans on our team. So I had 4 Kenyan male and 4 Kenyan female athletes. So yeah, they helped tremendously. But our American kids continue to improve as well.
So speaking of that cheat code, how'd you break through that? How'd you get 8 Kenyans on your team?
Well, when I first got into the junior college coaching, I was told, be prepared because you're probably going to be inundated with emails from Africa, from kids that say they're very fast and they want a full ride scholarship. But I was also told to be very weary of these athletes. And so I just kind of ignored them. We didn't have much scholarship money, still don't. So if I was going to take a chance on a kid, I had to be 100% certain. And so I had a kid. He was very persistent. His name was Titus Kiprotich, and he just kept reaching out, saying, "Coach, I'm fast. I want to come run for you. I'm fast. Give me an I-20." And I wouldn't do it. So I finally got an email from a guy by the name of Elkanah. Can't think of his last name, but I looked him up. He was the number 10 ranked marathoner in the world at the time. And he said, "Hey, I know this Titus kid. He's from my village. I vouch for him. I've seen him run. I wouldn't vouch for him unless he was a good runner." I still didn't believe it, just because I've heard too many horror stories. So I friended this Elkanah guy on Facebook, on Instagram. I looked up videos of him so I could hear him speaking. And then I asked him to call me at that point. And it was obviously the same person. So I made sure I was actually speaking to the right person. And he said, yes, Titus was indeed a really good runner. And he said I should give him a chance. So at that point, I tried to set up a time trial. And we set up a time trial. We issued an I-20. He was pretty fast. By the way, he never got his visa with us. He went to the embassy 6 times, was denied all 6 times. I finally said, "Hey, why don't you go try with another school?" Because at this point, we've been talking back and forth for a year and a half. So you kind of develop a relationship with these guys. And I said, "Why don't you try with another school?" So we got an I-20 with Hutchinson. Long story short, he was top 10 in the nation last year with Hutchinson. But he's a really good guy. Felt like he owed me a lot, because I gave him a chance. While he was waiting to come to the U.S., he started hosting time trials for us in Kenya. So he was videoing him, checking passports, telling me which guys were good. And before he left, he connected me with a really good source over there. And then that guy has been doing our time trials ever since. So we've been really fortunate that everybody that we brought in was a legitimate runner. And, that's kind of how we got into the game. And it's a lot of work, but they're really good people. And they're very humble and very appreciative to be here and with everything we can offer them.
How do they take to being in Missouri?
It's very cold in Missouri. As you know, the winters can be pretty harsh. I think the first Kenyan guy that showed up, he flew into Kansas City and it was -20 actual temperature, and he was wearing like flip-flops or sandals or something, and he had a coat, but it wasn't nearly enough. So it was definitely a learning experience. This morning was 51 degrees, and the Kenyans we had, they thought they thought it was the end of the world. So it was pretty cold, but they've adjusted well. It's this year is a whole new crew. We had 8 Kenyans last year, and 7 of them end up transferring to D1 or D2 schools, and so we only had 1 returner. And so we have 8 this year, 5 guys, 3 girls, but 7 of them are new. So it's a whole new experience for them once again.
Is that tough with them, having such success so quickly at the junior college level? Or you kind of anticipate that they're going to be one and done usually?
Well, your hope is that you've invested so much time, money, and just a lot of effort, honestly. It's, if you were to look at my phone on WhatsApp, it would scroll forever with all the people that have contacted me wanting to come to the U.S. So, just try to develop a relationship with them and let them know that you're there for them and go above and beyond and just, be a family for them, really, here in the United States, and just hope for the best. We're kind of in a bad situation at Crowder. There's not a whole lot of on-campus jobs, so that makes it really tough for them to support themselves. Coming from a third world country, they really need some help. So I do understand it if they leave. You hope that we can do our best to provide for them, and they can find some way of supporting themselves. And obviously, the hope is that they'll be there for 2 years. The first 2 guys that we brought in, they stayed for a year and a half. They came in the spring, and but they said they stayed because they really felt like they owed it to me. And they felt like that was their way of paying me back and just trying to build the program. So I was very fortunate to have those guys for a year and a half.
Right on. And how's the season going for you so far? Have you guys had some meets get underway yet?
Yeah, we're dumb. We ran back-to-back weeks. We didn't come in amazing shape, some of us, and I knew it'd be okay because we're going to train through these meets and basically treat them like glorified tempos, the 4-milers that we do. But we went to Memphis. The guys got 5th, girls got 5th. We had, honestly, our top 5 average time was faster than our top 5 average time last year, and we lost our top 9 guys from last year's squad. So we had we had 4 Kenyans up front, and then a bunch of Americans, and another one of our Kenyans that came in a little bad shape, but he's really progressing. The girls got fifth, and then we also ran at Bolivar at Southwest Baptist University on Friday, and ran really well, honestly. The girls got third to Missouri Southern, who has a pretty good squad this year, and Southwest Baptist University, who had a really good recruiting class. And the guys got third as well to Missouri Southern, that ran really well, and to Missouri S&T, they beat us by 1 point. Shout out to Missouri Southern. They're about 20 minutes north of us, but their number 4 guy ran for me last year, so he ran really well. We'd have loved to have had him one more year, but he came out of high school with 36 credit hours. So at a junior college, it makes it tough to stay more than 1 year.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. What do you guys have on tap leading into heading to Fort Dodge in November?
Well, in about a week and a half, we'll be going to Missouri Southern to the Stampede. That'll be a huge test for us. The guys, for the Americans, for sure, it'll be their first 8K. So it's kind of a big adjustment going from running 5K to 8K. Most of the guys on the team have already PR'd in the 5K during their 4 mile. So I anticipate the same thing. But honestly, our recruiting was really good on the guys' side. We had 4 guys that could have gone D1 or D2, and a lot of those schools would have loved to have the opportunity to develop them. But I was fortunate enough to let them see our program. They believe in what we're doing, and just really, really excited to see their development over the next year and a half. So, but yeah, we have Missouri Southern. We hopefully will do really well there. We've looked great in practice, just keep improving. We've had our girls team is getting better and better. And then we'll go to the Chili Pepper Festival in Fayetteville.
Nice.
Which will be a great test as well. And then we'll hit kind of a low-key meet at Allen County. It's the Fire Starter Classic. Then we'll have a regional meet, which is honestly, it's kind of a joke just because we don't really get we don't get any awards because we're the only team in the region that's D1. And then we'll head on to Iowa and see what Iowa Central has to offer us up there at Fort Dodge.
Coach, you mentioned that you have 8 international guys on the team this year.
Yeah.
Are you more with those guys coming in, starting college, being in a foreign land, being in the United States? Do you feel like you're a parent at times as well as a coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I was telling somebody that the other day. I said, when I signed up for this job, I didn't realize I was going to become the father of 8 international kids. But it's a lot because they have so many things that they need done. They need to get social security numbers, and they're looking for jobs, and they need help finding food and different things like that. I mean, there's just a lot, honestly. Getting their physicals done, making sure they have insurance, helping them get their housing deposits paid, getting them enrolled in classes, and letting them know where everything is, and explaining to them how the refrigerator works and the shower works, and honestly, things that we don't even think about that we need to let them know. So, but yeah, it's it is a lot of work, but honestly, I really do enjoy it. They're great guys, so humble, and it's a lot of fun.
You mentioned that there aren't many jobs on campus. Have you made any through lines with any of the local businesses where you can kind of put guys through there and be like, hey, I got some guys coming in this year. You got any jobs?
Yeah, unfortunately, with international students, because of their F1 visa, they can only work on campus or in a field of study, and they're all nursing majors. So unless there's a local, medical facility that's willing to give them a job, it's almost impossible to get a job, especially your first semester as an international student, unless it's on campus. We had some kids last year, they got their CNA over Christmas break and were able to get some jobs that way, working in some local businesses. But it is really tough, for sure. And then, they're getting a lot of requests from back home from their families for money, because most of them have 7, 8, 9 brothers and sisters, and it's pay as you go school. So, they're like, hey, my little sister needs to go to school. Can you send $20 so she can go this month? And because they're in the United States, their families think they're rich, and which is not the case.
Coach, geographically speaking, where are you located? Jimmy and I's point of reference is we know everything in Missouri through Route 70 or I-70, but other than that, outside of like Kansas City, we're pretty limited in our Missouri geography. Where are you guys located at?
Yeah, well, if you're on I-70 and then you go and take 71 south to Joplin, Missouri.
Okay.
Joplin is where Missouri Southern is. We're about 20 minutes south of there. So just about on the Arkansas border. We're probably 20 miles north of 15 to 20 miles north of the Arkansas border. We're probably an hour from Fayetteville, Arkansas, north of
Okay.
there.
So that's considered the Ozarks, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
So I imagine you have some pretty good training grounds.
Yeah, I mean, Crowder's located, it's in Neosho, but it's almost a town in itself. It's a former military base. If you've ever read the comic strip Beetle Bailey,
Hmm.
um, Beetle Bailey was stationed at Camp Swampy. Well, Crowder College is where the guy that created, you know, Beetle Bailey was stationed. So Camp Swampy is Crowder. It's kind of landlocked by paved roads, honestly, but we're pretty fortunate that there's a military base surrounding our school, and I happen to know the lieutenant, and he's a former coach at a rival school, and so he lets us run on the base, and they have lots of gravel roads and hills and just lots of different terrain. We have also have some conservation areas that are very close that have 2, 3, 4, 5 mile loops that have really good footing. We have a what we call Kentucky Thunder, which is a 16-mile out and back that's all gravel with lots of hills that we can go to. It's about 15 miles away. And if we travel north to Joplin, they do have the Frisco Trail, which is really nice to run on, in the Ruby Jack, former rail lines that have had the hardpack chat. So, yeah, we do have a lot of cool places to run. We don't have a track on campus. We actually access the Neosho High School track before they get on there in the afternoons. Sometimes we hit the mornings. We're not there a lot for cross country, but we use it a lot more in track season.
I like the sounds of that Kentucky Thunder.
Yeah.
That sounds right up my alley, doesn't it, Jim?
Yes, it does. I wouldn't want to do that with you.
It's like
You're on
it's
your
like
own.
it's Crowder's version of Magnolia Road.
Yeah, there you go. Coach, you mentioned the dorms and that being a big highlight for kids coming to Crowder that they can stay at the dorms. What is your team look like as far as kids from Missouri and kids from out of state?
Yeah, primarily we're Missouri compromised, no pun intended. But we have a program in Missouri called the A+ program, and so for junior colleges, if you do 50 hours of tutoring and you score proficient on your algebra EOC in the course examination, you get all your tuition paid for. So I think every Missouri kid in 24, 25 was on the A+ program. So even though we don't have a lot of athletic money at times, we do have that avenue. We do have a couple of kids out of Northwest Arkansas that ran at Harbor, Springdale. One of them was he was wanting to walk on maybe at U of A, but he only had a 156 in high school. But that's a pretty good pickup for us to get a 156 kid out of high school, especially with our middle distance training. I think he can probably get close to 150 this year as a freshman. He's got really good endurance. He's running pretty well in cross, and he's got good foot turnover. So I think we can do something with that. But yeah, mainly Missouri kids. We have 30 kids on the roster this year, 15 guys, 15 girls, 5 Kenyans, 7 Americans, and 2 kids from Arkansas on the guys' side. All the girls are from Missouri except for our 3 Kenyan girls.
And are all those guys and gals, are they living on campus or you got some living off campus?
Yeah, they all live on campus. The 8 Kenyans live in the apartments, which are across the street. That's technically part of the school, but those have their own kitchen, refrigerator, sink, everything, because the Kenyan athletes really do like to cook their own food. They like to eat their ugali and greens and potatoes and rice and lentils and things like that. We have a couple of twin girls that are living in the apartments as well, and then one of our sophomore girls is living in the apartments. But everybody else lives in the dorms. All the guys live in one house, and the girls live in another. They say it's kind of like having summer camp all the time. So they do a lot of fun stuff together. Hopefully they stay out of trouble.
Coach, could you just go back real quick and repeat what you said about I think you said it was the A+ program. If students coming out of high school have 50 hours of tutoring and they get a certain grade on the EOC, they get free tuition?
Yeah, Missouri, it's called the A+ program. And in high school, all you have to do is tutor for 50 hours. It could be in the summer. You could even do like a cadet teaching class where you're basically helping in a classroom. And you get 50 hours of credit for that. And then you have to score just proficient on your algebra end of course examination. And as long as your attendance is okay, it has to be, I think it's like 95%, and you don't have any referrals for behavior, that were serious. Yeah, you can get all your tuition and fees paid for at any junior college in Missouri. So it's a great program, honestly.
Are a lot of students in Missouri taking advantage of that?
Yeah, there are a lot that do, but it surprises me sometimes in the middle of recruiting. I'm like, so are you doing A plus? And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, how do you not know what that is? Someone's counselors failed them along the way.
Mm.
So, junior college is a great route to go, especially with, all the eligibility, potential eligibility issues that are going on right now at the college level. I mean, if you're looking at getting your master's, why not go ahead and go and run into JUCO, get to compete, potentially keep all 4-year NCAA, years. So yeah, JUCO all the way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Coach, with the diverse roster, how is it with the American athletes and the Kenyan athletes? Do they come together, or does it take some bonding at summer camp, no pun intended, to kind of, break through some barriers?
Yeah, one thing that we really wanted to stress this year was having one team. At times last year it seemed like we had two teams. We had our Kenyan guys kind of doing their thing and their American guys doing their thing. The guys did a way better job than the ladies. The ladies seemed to, I think it was just the ladies that we had last year. They were just very quiet in general, just kind of kept to themselves. I think it was more of a just their personality, not necessarily just cultural. But we really do stress like, hey, we're going to warm up together. We're gonna cool down together. We're gonna do things together. I try to provide opportunities for them just to come together. We do team meals together. And a lot of times we'll like, hey, the first mile we're gonna warm up together. I know we're all different paces, but we're gonna spend this first mile, talk to each other. We do buddy runs where I just like I pick a day, and it doesn't matter if you're fast or slow. You're gonna run with this person. You're gonna get to know them. Ask them about their culture. Ask them about what's going on back home. Ask them how they made the United States, and or vice versa. If they're an American. We also do a team retreat. We go away for 3 days and just they stay in the guys stay in one room, the girls stay in another, and we just they set goals and just get to know each other a lot better that way. But I would say honestly, the culture is really good, way better than I've seen it in some other places. And they do really. I know the American guys just absolutely love the Kenyan guys. They love going over to their apartment and just spending time with them and just trying to hang out with them as much as they can.
Yeah, that's huge. I would imagine. I know myself as a younger runner, I would have we had a couple. It was only some Canadians and some Brits, but you try to learn from them and get to know different things about the culture, and I would imagine it's even more so with having guys from Africa and Kenya to be able to pick their brains and just absorb some of that, just their ability to run and how they run. And it's, I mean, all the rising tide rises all ships. So I'd imagine that
Yeah,
helps everyone. I'm curious on those buddy runs. Do you when they come back, do you quiz them a little bit? Do you ask them like,
yeah,
what's their favorite color? What do they like on their pizza?
yeah. So yeah, we that's what we do. We go back, we get in a circle, and be like, okay, tell me something about so and so, and they share, they go around and just kind of let everybody know what they learned about their buddy during that time. So and the thing about the Kenyan athletes, you get to know their story a little bit, and it's very humbling. That with the embassy situation going on the way it is right now, it's almost impossible to get a visa. These families over there, are pretty much they're ransoming everything they have, selling off all their property just to give their children a chance, and then most of the time it doesn't even happen. It's really heartbreaking, honestly. And so the kids that I have are just very thankful to be here.
With the difficulty with getting visas and that sort of stuff to get over here, and it's a lifetime opportunity. Do you think that they're sometimes you have to rein them in a little bit because they're trying so hard to get to that next level or get that Division I scholarship or maybe an NIL deal? Is it sometimes you got to be like, hey, we got to pump the brakes a little bit?
No, I mean, our training's pretty intense. I think they're they're getting about all they want, I think, at times.
Okay.
So, I haven't really seen that aspect of it at all. The trying to think which direction I might go with that, but no, I mean, I haven't seen that at all. They just come out, they put in the work. They don't really question what we're doing. Sometimes they'll mention like, "Hey, can we do a fartlek or something like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, we have that planned." Or I'll tell them like, "Hey, we kind of already have the season kind of." I've done this for a while, and we're probably gonna do this on that day and this on that day, and but they're very respectful about what our plan is, and we have one-on-ones every week, and they come in the office, everybody on the team, and we just sit down and talk about how training's going, and discuss like where they want to go, what their goals are. Do we need to adjust those, and how their health is, how's life, how's school going, and just we have conversations like that. And I think those things kind of help, curtail any of those issues that we might run into.
Rich, I'm gonna steal your thunder on this one, but Coach, you said your training's pretty intense. So what's the training looking like? You guys dabbling in double T? How far out are you programming, and are you adjusting accordingly throughout the season?
Well, no, we haven't dabbled in the double T, but we definitely do two workouts, not two workouts, but two runs a day, 4 days a week, especially those that are on higher mileage for sure. So I'm sorry, somebody's at my front door. So if somebody rings the doorbell, I'll try to ignore it.
All right.
But um, yeah, back to the train of thought. So we train Monday through Thursday twice a day, Friday and Saturday mornings. Selfishly, I do take Sundays off to spend with my family, go to church. So we do take Sundays off, which is a little bit normal and not normal for a lot of programs. A lot of people do their long runs on Sunday. We do ours on Saturday generally. And if we don't get our long run in because of racing, then we'll just have a really longer run on Monday. But like we'll be doing a really intense tempo hill run tomorrow morning. It's super incline, like 11% grade. So it's gonna be pretty challenging. They're gonna hit that one pretty hard. And then Thursday we'll come back and be doing like 2,000, 3,000, 1,000 intervals at sub race pace. But our mileage isn't quite as high as I would like it to be, just because I'm trying to keep everybody healthy. With the Kenyan athletes, they're not used to running on pavement, and sometimes we have to run on that a little bit more than we want to. So, we're keeping it about a max of 70 miles per week right now on the guys' side, and the girls are going to get closer to 55 to 60, some of them. So,
Coach, do you have a benchmark workout that you do with the athletes that you check in like maybe once a month?
yeah, we do 1,000-meter repeats,
Yeah.
and we usually do them on the track just because it's, we know it's the same every time. And from our first session, first week on campus to our last one, it was like night and day. It was like, it didn't even look like the same team. So yeah, we do that one quite a bit. It's just something that I like doing. It's a really taxing workout, but it's also something that's doable. As the season goes on, though, we do decrease the amount of recovery time that they get, for sure. And then we adjust the paces as we go as well, once the kids get a little bit more fit. So.
Okay. And you mentioned a lot of the Kenyan athletes are nursing majors. Are most of the students on the team otherwise maybe doing like a kind of just like a liberal arts associate's degree and then thinking about their major once they go move on to a 4 year?
Yeah, I'd say most of the kids on the team are just doing a general education degree, getting their
Yeah.
certificates in that. A lot of them, they come to junior college because they're not sure what they want to do with their lives, and they're still trying to figure out what they want to do. I have some sophomores that still don't know what they want to do. So yeah, I think most of them just the general education. I don't really think a lot of them have a focus yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm 49 and I tell my students and my athletes I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So
Yeah, same.
Coach, you mentioned that nursing program. Is there any other unique programs at Crowder?
Well, it has a huge technical school, and our agricultural program is amazing. We have like a 500-acre farm that surrounds the campus, so we get really good ag students from all over the place because they get to work hands-on with all the different animals. The nursing program, even though we have an amazing nursing program, it doesn't work really well for the athletes. So even though the Kenyans are technically nursing majors, they're not really taking a lot of the nursing classes because at Crowder you can get your whole nursing RN degree in 3 years. And that's not going to work for the Kenyan athletes because obviously they can only stay for 2. So, and then all the technical schools, and we have diesel tech, and we at one point had a solar program. It's a pretty big school. I think we have like 6,000 students at Crowder, spread out over. We have 6 different campuses.
Oh, wow.
So, Coach, you took over the program in 2021, or that's when stuff got going, and you had
Yeah,
a pretty successful program at East Newton High School. Has
yeah.
there been any time in that stretch where you were like, what did I do? What did I get myself into? I enjoy just teaching and coaching.
Well, I taught high school English, so I'll be honest. By the time I was 21 years into it, I was kind of ready to be done teaching.
Yeah.
Um, So the idea of just being able to go and coach and not have to teach, and really, I love teaching, but grading papers. I mean, when you're in the middle of season, got 2 track meets that week, and you've got 5-page research papers to grade, and no time to get it done. I don't miss those days at all. So, I said goodbye at East Newton, and it was really, really tough because I had a good team. I really did, and there were some good guys coming back. But there's always going to be those kids that you're gonna be looking forward to coaching and hate saying goodbye to. It honestly was pretty much a perfect time. We just got third in the state. In Missouri, even like class 3 is pretty tough in cross country. It's a pretty deep state in terms of ability. And we had a good 4x800. I knew we had a chance to win state again. We were going to three-peat. Would have been a four-peat without COVID, and we did. So we went out on a high note. We got third in state in track and in cross country. Won state in the 4x800 again on the guys' side, and went and started that program, and tried my best just to keep building it up and just creating good athletes and good people. That's our goal.
So, sorry, Rich, you mentioned that grading papers was not something that you like doing. And we know as a college coach, you're not just a coach, you're a CEO of small business.
Yeah.
You got to manage a lot of different things. Sounds like you really like doing the programming and the workouts and stuff. What is the grading papers of your job at Crowder?
I mean, budgeting, obviously, it's tough. As a fairly new program, our budget's gotten way better, but in the beginning, it was pretty tight, and just making sure that we had enough money just to get through the season. Also, scholarships. I wish I had more money. There's always kids that aren't going to get the amount of money that you wish you could give them. And trying to build the best team you can around what you have available. I think the monetary side of it is probably the hardest thing for sure. Just budgeting scholarships and recruiting, is a never ending thing. I mean, I honestly never stop working. You get home and your phone's going off and you're checking stats, and it's my wife did say I was kind of married to my team, which that kind of hurts a little bit, but in a lot of ways it is true. If you're going to be in this, and you're in it. It's a lot for sure.
Do you find recruiting to be a bit more challenging than recruiting at the high school level, where you have the kids and you're around them all day and you can see them and you can talk to them? Whereas I guess now a lot of recruiting isn't even on a phone call anymore. It's probably WhatsApp or text message or some other form that I don't even know about.
Yeah. We use social media a lot, trying to reach out to kids. I mean, I have access to every coach's email address in Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, any state I want, really. And I'll send out messages, and we don't get a lot of response that way normally. It's tough the amount of time it takes to go in and add specific names. So I've had a coach say, well, if you don't put a specific name on there, I'm not going to even bother, passing that information on or asking, which that's fair. So we use social media. Honestly, we'll go and we'll follow kids on Instagram and hope that they follow us back so that we can start a conversation that way. And we've actually signed a lot of kids just through Instagram, honestly. A few kids have reached out to us, but it's a junior college, and that's a tough sell. It honestly is, because everyone wants to go bigger. But a lot of times kids just don't realize how difficult college running is, no matter what level you're running at. And we're kind of in a tough spot in terms of recruiting, because Missouri Southern is 20 minutes north of us. Pitt State is an hour away from us. University of Arkansas is an hour away from us. Springfield, Missouri has a Drury and Evangel, and Missouri State University. They're an hour away from us. We're kind of right in the middle of some really good programs, and so kids have a lot of options. And especially on the girls' side, it is really, really tough. The American girls that I'm getting, and most of them ran 22 and 23 minutes in high school, and then in 1 year, hopefully get them down close to 20 flat. And if they really, buy in and focus, hopefully after 2 years, get them down to potentially breaking 19 minutes or low 19s, but, we're starting at a different baseline for sure. We did sign one really, really good American this year. She was third in class 3 in the 2 mile and ran around 11:30. And she's already doing really, really well. First meet ran the fastest American girls time we've ever had. And I think she potentially can run high 17s by the time she leaves here next year.
Okay. Has the success of the program, have you seen a little bit of a bump in recruiting because of that. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, the kids that we've had on campus, that have moved on, we've had a lot of kids move on even after 2 years. I think last year we had 16 kids move on to D2 or D1 schools, and that's over half, and then we had quite a few kids coming back. So majority of our kids that graduated last year ended up going to MIAA schools like University of Central Missouri, Missouri Southern, Pitt State. We had a kid go to Wichita State, Drake, University of Fayetteville in North Carolina, Pembroke, North Carolina. We had a kid go to NAI school in Indiana. So yeah, I mean, the success definitely it doesn't hurt for sure. And you have a little bit of credibility when kids start seeing the improvement of the American athletes, especially. When you see a kid go from 207 to 152 in 2 years, that does open some eyes. But
sounds
he had that in him the whole time. That's the thing that people don't realize. I just found a way of getting it out of him.
Sounds like from some of your recruits and athletes, and then with your success at the high school level, is the 800 your bread and butter event you like to coach?
I love that event. I love running all the events, honestly. I get excited for every event. But yeah, I mean, at the high school level, at a small school, like I taught at a school that had 350 kids, and there weren't a lot of good athletes to go around. So um, I had to share those athletes many times with the basketball team. So in track season, if you're going to be good, it's probably not going to be at the 2 mile because they come in with no base whatsoever. There's not enough time. They're playing all the way up until almost April at times. Especially because we had some good teams, and so you just race them into shape. And the 4x8 was a place that we could have some success, and hopefully we get them good enough shape to run a good mile as well. And if they're pretty talented, they might be able to hang on and make all state in the 2 mile as well. So yeah, but the 800, I love it. It's so fast and exciting, honestly. Yeah. I was not an 800 runner myself, but I love coaching it.
Rich, you had to share a lot of the basketball athletes. Do you want to ask the next question, or you want me to steal your thunder again on
You
this
can
one?
steal it. Go ahead.
So, Coach, you had to share athletes. You had a lot of multi-sport athletes. What is your thought on the multi-sport athlete? Do you feel there's benefits of playing more than one sport?
Um, I think you could argue either way. I think if you're going to argue, I'd say if you're like a ball athlete, I would play lots of different sports, but if you're a running athlete and you're going to have any success, you have to be running pretty much year round, in my opinion. By the time you're a sophomore, junior in high school, you should be doing cross country and track and probably training summer and winter if you're going to get to the level that these kids are getting to nowadays. If you're not, you're just probably getting left behind. But, I think multi-sports for sure. I mean, it strengthens so many different muscle groups that, kids get in the weight room and they get really strong in the major muscle groups and they don't get very strong in the minor muscles that we use. I think that's what the ball sports really are good at, strengthening, the medial and lateral muscles in your thighs and stuff like that. I think that's probably why we see so many ACL injuries nowadays, because we're so strong in our quads and hamstrings and we're not really strengthening all those little bitty muscles that kind of keep everything intact.
Yeah.
So
You mentioned that sometimes kids don't understand the benefits of junior college, and sometimes it might be a tough pitch. And like Rich said, we are products of the junior college system, but I won't speak for Rich. I went kicking and screaming. It was my only option. So that's where I went, but it wasn't my first, choice where I wanted to go. Have you figured out the magic pitch? Have you figured out the magic words to kind of make a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kind of understand the benefits, or do you not understand till you see the price of college and you're paying loans off when you're in your 30s and 40s?
yeah, it seems like with the guys, the idea that they can compete right away, a lot, we lose a lot of girls. They'll go to like an NCAA school, a Division II school, and yeah, they have a uniform and they got to be on the media day pictures, but they never get to race. They're probably redshirting for a year, maybe finding a way to redshirt for 2 years, or, honestly, they're just not getting many opportunities. Just the idea that, hey, you're going to come to a junior college, you're going to get really solid training, you're going to improve, and you get to be a contributing factor on our team that's going to have success, while you're getting better and hopefully making some money down the road for a D2 or D1 school. That's kind of all what I can offer them. On the guys' side, we get a lot of walk-ons just because guys are not quite as ready to give up athletics, I think, as girls are sometimes. A lot of the girls are just ready. Oh, I've got good grades. I'm going to be able to go to a D2 school, and I'm just going to be on my academic scholarship and not worry about it. But yeah, I don't know what the magic words are, but I think opportunity to compete right away. And then if they're decent, we're going to be able to pay for most of it. So that's a good carrot as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good benefit of, hey, you're going to compete right away, and guess what? We're going to a lot of these invitationals, a lot of meets that you're going to compete against Division 1 and Division 2 schools, so you're going to see the same competition with the exception of the national meet, and you might actually have a chance to become All-American and then, open up doors that you didn't have maybe coming out of high school.
Yeah, I would say one thing I'm guilty of as a coach, I would probably be a way different coach if I taught or if I coached at a 4-year school. We race more often than I would like to, because I'm trying to give these kids opportunities to get good times, and it's a very quick development period. They need to get fast and they need to get good, and they have a very short amount of time to get good. So I think if there's anything I'm guilty of that I would definitely change if I was at like, an NCAA Division 2 school, it's definitely our training would look a lot different and we wouldn't race nearly as often.
Coach, you said in the recruiting process it's helped that, people are are taking notice of what you're doing at the school and that people, you guys are ranked, in the preseason 5 and 7. Do you enjoy that, or do you kind of wish you could kind of stay under the radar more and surprise some people and turn more heads at the national meet and creep up on them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ego on the team, it's hard to you wish you could kind of fly under the radar, but the ego of the guys that they want to see that, hey, what we're doing is paying off. I think the guys kind of felt like it was a slap in the face when they got ranked 7th, because we actually have, I think we're better this year than we were last year. But we lost our top 9 guys. And when you lose your top 9, that's a big rebuild. And yeah, we lost all 4 of our Kenyan guys that were number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our 5 ended up going to Missouri Southern, where he was the number 4 at their first meet. So that you're losing a lot of really good runners. But the kids that got visas, and then the transfers that we had come in, and then our American guys, I mean, honestly, I think we're way better than we were last year. Um, and the girls, they were ranked 5th, and that's probably about where we should have been. We lost our top 3 girls from last year. We did get a girl with a visa that won our meet the other day at Southwest Baptist. She ran 17:51. She's pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Rankings are what they are. But it's cool to see, and I think the kids get excited for when they come out and all those things like that. But I don't know if you can really fly on the radar under the radar anymore with all the data that's out there.
Yeah.
I was looking at Iowa Western, their last race, and I was like, yeah, we're not. They beat Northwest Missouri, and I think they won the MIAA last year, so that's pretty good.
So what are the goals for postseason? Have the team started talking about that, or
Yeah, I mean, from the very beginning of the year, it was our goal to get a trophy at nationals, top 3 both sides. I think on the girls' side, it's gonna be a lot tougher. If we hadn't lost a couple of our key runners that transferred to D2 schools, I think we'd be right there. Especially with Salt Lake, looks like they may be down just because they did away with their track program. But I think maybe those kids went to a different junior college potentially. So it looks like,
no?
yeah, it looks like Snow is going to be. They look pretty good too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, top 3. It'd be awesome to get a national trophy. Just so they see the kids hoist that in the air would be really, really cool. Because we do work hard, and they're my kids, honestly. So.
Yeah. And the JUCO is a unique experience. There's a half marathon championships the Monday after the national cross country championships. Will you be entering teams in the half marathon championships?
Yeah, I think we will this year. We didn't last year, and honestly, our girls would have done very, very well. Our girls could go out and just completely slay a 10-12 long run, 10-mile long run. They were super, super good. I don't know if we would have won, but we would have definitely been top 2 or 3 last year, because they only score 3,
Yeah.
and we went 4, 6, and 16 in the nation in cross country with those girls, and those 3 could definitely put on a long run. Guys would have done pretty well too. I think potentially top 3 on the guys' side last year. So we're going to try it this year. We had a bad experience with it 2 years ago down in Huntsville. Just the kids were just tired.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we didn't perform very well. And yeah, it was just, but I'm hoping this year will be different.
Now they score three, but are you allowed to run more than three?
Yeah, you can run as many as you want.
You can.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll probably send most of the team home, just because it's on Tuesday now.
Oh, okay.
So you run Saturday and then it's on Tuesday. So just the hotel fees and stuff like that, we'll probably send most of them home and we'll just take a van back.
Coach, is there anything about Crowder College that we haven't spoke on that you want potential recruits, parents to know? Anything that you want to speak on that we haven't spoke on? The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good school. It's like a 13-1, student to professor ratio. The professors know who you are. I mean, we've even seen them at our cross country meets. They're very supportive of the program. I am very happy with our administration, even though we're not highly funded. We're way better than we were, and they're continuing to work just to build that program. I think they see the success that we're having, and they want to try to make it even better. I think with just potentially if we'd had two more scholarships last year, we may have been national champions. I gave away Elkanah Kipruto, who went 22-19. He actually got his visa with us, but I didn't have enough money to sign him. And he went to Stephen F. Austin. Now he's the number one runner at Wichita State. I think he ran 13:20 on the track in the 5,000. So just it's a good school. We're continuing to work to make it even better. Um, Treat cross country, track and field like a big family. Crowder itself, it's a good place to be. There's a lot going on campus. It feels like a real college. We have student events. We have a really large Baptist Student Union. They have about 50 kids that attend like Bible studies and stuff like that on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so if faith is your thing, they have that aspect of it as well. And we do have really good baseball, softball programs. So that gets really exciting on campus. So there's a lot going on. It's a good school, good place to live. Southwest Missouri's low crime area, and just a great place for your kids to go for 2 years.
The Ozarks, Jim.
Yep. Yeah, you will. Definitely got me excited to follow the team, coach, and I'm expecting big things come November. So I'm very grateful that we had this conversation. Rich, do you have anything else for coach before we get in the final four?
Now let's get him in the Final Four.
Okay. Coach, are you a coffee drinker?
I am.
How do you brew your coffee and how do you take it?
I just use just a regular coffee pot, and use Folgers, and I just brew enough for my 32-ounce big cup. That keeps it warm for like 4 hours.
All
I
right.
put just a little bit of milk in the bottom of it, and then I also put in like 3 Splenda, and I drink that, starting at 5 in the morning until about 10 a.m. and then I'm done. So.
Right on. Coach, do you have any daily practices or rituals you do on a regular basis to show up as the strongest version of Jake Holt?
Well, I read my Bible every morning. So that's the first thing I do when I wake up. I do a yearly Bible reading app. And so I'm almost done with this year. But I do that every morning. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question, man. I would say I try to tell the people that I care about that I love them.
That's awesome.
Rich, I think Coach is like the third or fourth person who told us about that daily Bible reading app. I think the universe might be trying to tell us something.
I think so.
It's a tough habit to get started, but once you get started, it gets pretty easy. So.
Yeah.
Coach, what are you listening to right now? Music, podcasts, audiobooks? Are you reading anything?
I'll be honest. I'm a really strong Christian, and so all I do is listen to Christian music. So that's it. I watch a little bit of TV. I'm a Cardinals baseball fan, but they're not really worth watching right now. They're pretty bad, and but that's about it. I listen to the radio. I guess I better be listening to the Airey podcast a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'll definitely get all your junior college cross country and track and field
Scouting
news
reports.
and scouting
Yeah.
reports.
Coach, last one we have for you to close out is a lighthearted one, a little fun. Maybe it's a unique food item that you guys have down there. Maybe it's a beverage. Maybe you like to play golf. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Um, Golly, this is bad, but I have 10,000 plus trophies on Clash Royale.
Okay.
And most of the guys on the team play Clash Royale. So at running camp, it's kind of a joke. Like I dismiss everybody for dinner. And I always say, if you think you have more trophies than I do, you can come up here. And if you do, you can go first. If you don't, you go last. And so, normally I have more trophies than the kids, which is kind of funny. So got my 9-year badge. So yeah, there we go.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. That's
Coach,
lame.
Not at all.
I honestly, I don't even know what it is. Is it a video game or is it on a online game?
It's a phone app online
Phone
game.
app. All right. You
Li-
like,
you play live against another opponent. And you have to battle like every day. So
all right.
it's like a 10-minute a day pleasure. So
Okay. Do you limit yourself? Do you have a timer that comes on that turns the app off, or if
no,
you're on a hot streak, will you keep
no,
going?
honestly, don't play that much. I just, if you're in a clan, you have to. I hate talking about this. If you're in a clan, you do your battles, on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then that's really the only requirement that you have. So.
Do you play
I,
with kids on the team, or do you have like a bunch of ringers all over the country that you play
yeah,
with?
I actually used to be in a clan that was ranked top 20 in the nation, but I left it. It was a lot of pressure, not gonna lie.
All right. A little bit of a double life there,
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, that's sad.
Coach, thank you so much for your time this evening. I can't wait to follow the team for the rest of the year. I'm expecting some big things and super excited that we had this conversation. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
Yes, Coach Holt, it's an honor and a pleasure to meet with you. Jim, we're going to be losing our voices. We have so many teams to root for come November 8th.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one this year, Rich.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get to reconnect on the 7th if we do our live coverage at the banquet out there in Fort Dodge. We'll do some remote stuff. Maybe we'll see you out there, do a little pre-meet conference. So, Coach, it was an honor and pleasure to meet with you this evening. We do appreciate your time, and yeah, best of luck with the rest of the season. Best of luck at Chili Pepper. I know that's a pretty big deal, and yeah, we'll be rooting for you as well as some of the other schools that we root for out in Fort Dodge come November 8th.
All right, thank you, Rich. Thanks, Jim.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Coach Jake Holt from Crowder College. Make sure you give them a follow. Let them know the Airey Bros sent you. Give them a little bit of love. We will be back tomorrow night. Quinn White from Taylor University will be joining us. They're one of the top NAIA programs right now. And on Wednesday night, Jeremy Sudbury from Iowa State will be joining us to talk all things cyclone cross country. So thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll be back